Good morning and welcome to Minted Mornings, your first look at what's happening on the blockchain, live on weekdays at 9 a.m. Join myself and Franklin to discover the latest news, headlines, and biggest winners in the space and how you can make money in Web3. Remember to do your own research as nothing shared is financial advice. We hope you enjoy the show. Franklin, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Yo, good morning, man. Doing good. Bit of a stressful weekend, I think, for many. It wasn't great. Everything just went to shit. But nice little bounce back this morning. Feeling good, looking good again. Not great for meme coins and DJing this weekend. Did not have a fun time.
Gosh, yes. So I basically was out, didn't really see what was going on, and then got some alerts on my trading view for entries that I had, but I missed them, and then I started seeing the timeline, and I was like, "What's actually going on here?" And then when I saw it, and then I saw your WhatsApp as well, I was like, "Shit, this is crazy, man!" It was a 20% drop, I think, in the end, right?
Yeah, it literally just went to absolute zero at the weekend. It was a massive drop, like 20%. I think I called you. I was out with friends. And yeah, I was looking at Twitter and the charts and stuff, and it just looked absolutely terrible. So I made a couple of moves and some decisions to get out of Solana, and it went down a little bit more, and then bought back in at like 119 and 121. So I got some good price, and just kind of sat on it, rode it back up a little bit this morning as well. So it's looking good.
Nice.
A little bit of panic, I think.
I did the same, but I didn't get it that low. I caught it at like 132. So you caught it at 119. That was quick.
It was literally just after we got off the phone on Saturday night. It was down at 120. I said to you, I was like, it's at 120. And then literally then I sat down for like 5 minutes in the corner by myself and moved some money around and got into Solana again.
Let's go. Yeah, no, I got a low enough entry, so my DCA was good. Also packed some other bags as well, actually. I packed some ETH, BTC bags, and actually some whiff as well. I don't know why, but I saw it was down and I thought, yeah, fuck it, I might as well.
Yeah, and I got a good entry this weekend on Wormhole as well. Now that was a $2,000 airdrop, and then it literally went. And I checked my wallet the other night, mate, and it was at like 800 and something. I was like, "Yo, this is went down so quick." And I checked it, and I was like, "No, this is actually like free." So I basically picked it up. It was about, I think it was just under 50 cents. And I think it's at like 60 or 70 cents this morning. So yeah, it was amazing opportunities this weekend, to be honest. If you were liquid enough and had the balls to put them out there onto the charts, because everything was cheap.
Yeah, definitely. In the past, I would have not panicked, but like, when you go to the timeline in these times, and obviously the price has dropped considerably, whether it's a black swan event or whether there's been a sharp price action drop, you get like all the banter on the timeline, but it doesn't really reassure you. What I actually did do about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I created a list of key opinion leaders in the space that are actually from a macroeconomics background. And I literally went on that list. I'll share it with you, Franklin. It's sick. And it was literally 8 to 10 people who were explaining what was going on, what was going to be happening in terms of it was due to the Iran and Israel conflict and how that would impact the price. And I just felt so much calmer. And I thought, yeah, this is it. Now I'm definitely going to buy more. So, yeah, really, really glad that I set that up, because looking at the timeline in these situations, the first thing you do is go to the chart. The second thing you do is go to the timeline. And then sometimes that creates more challenges. Whereas I had that list and I was ready and it was really good.
Yeah, because I rang you and I was like, bro, it's going, like, should move some things around. And you were like, oh, no, it's calm. I'm only down like 50%.
No, but to be fair, like obviously we're bullish enough, right? We spend enough time in this space to know that these things happen. My first thing was, this conflict is creating some price action. And although we're going to be speaking about the price action, obviously, shout out to just having it all on lock, like, and making sure that all of my, like, everything was ready. I had stables. I was able to allocate, reallocate, and move things around. That made a massive difference for me.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Worked out well in the end. Got some good positions, and yeah, fair enough. We're happy, but I think a lot of people got wrecked over this weekend. Almost $1 billion in liquidations, which is it's pretty crazy for how quickly that actually went down as well.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be taking, I say this every time, a deeper dive, but we are going to. So we've got
Yeah,
some
it's,
really cool headlines this morning. If you haven't already, drop a repost, a bookmark, and a comment in the bottom right hand corner. We're going to be covering crypto owners, a growing force heading into the 24 election next year with, this year with the US election coming up. We've got nearly a billion liquidated in the last 48 hours. Hong Kong approves its first batch of spot Bitcoin ETFs, and Mockaverse unveils their tokenomics and allocates 53% to their community. So, without further ado, Franklin, let's go.
Oh yeah, let's get into it though, because if so, we haven't even mentioned it actually. I forgot all about it. But if you're in the space right now, if you go to the pinned tweet at the top, we're actually live on video at the same time right now as well. So everything that we're going to be going through on the space, we're going to be sharing on that video on the screen. So yeah, just the added little thing we thought we would. Oh, alarm's going off. What the fuck's this?
Franklin's alarm. The little added thing is Franklin's alarm.
9 minutes past 9. What's that about? Why is their alarm going off then? I need to double check that. But yeah, pin to the top tweet if you're not in there already. If you want to come up and speak, then it's still through the space. We tried it out yesterday, still kind of our trial phase, but yeah, I mean, let's get into it. If you do want to speak, request on space. If you don't, you can either watch the video or you can stay in the space. Up to you.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to head into the price action this morning. Let's have a look at the last 24 hours and the last 7 days, obviously, because we did have that sharp drop. And then we'll be taking a deeper dive into what's happening on chain with some NFTs as well. So Bitcoin's price this morning is at $66,363, down 2.67% in the last 24 hours and 6.4% on the last 7 days. ETH is at 3,244, down, up 5%. BNB is at $577, up 0.32%. Solana is at $154. It's crazy seeing Solana at this price after we've been seeing it with the highs that we've had recently. XRP still struggling at 0.51 cents, up 3%. Doge is at 0.16, up 4.5%. And Cardano to wrap up the top 10 at 49 cents. Franklin, let's head straight into the on-chain analytics for June.
Mate, Ruggin, you good? What did you
Yeah,
say? On-chain analytics?
Yep.
Yeah, all right, cool. I was dipping in and out there, but let me just before we just jump straight up, I got the heat map ready as well. Basically over the last 24 hours in terms of like liquidations, it's actually good now. So on this tool, you can't go further back than sort of 24 hours backwards, but this was at like 900 million over the weekend in terms of how many liquidations, and obviously all of the liquidations coming through Binance, OKX, and Bybit as well. But yeah, it's been huge, man, huge. But 60 million the last 24 hours, it's not bad compared to the 900 million we've had over the last couple of days.
Yeah, so it was obviously that initial shock, what was going to be happening in terms of the conflict, and then um, I mean, we spoke about it on the phone. It was sort of like it was going to be make or break within those 4 hours, the level of escalation that was going to happen, which would then determine the price. And I actually had to Google it. I mean, I was going to ask it in the group, and I was going to actually put, "Is this a silly question?" But the question was, and I now know, was why is it that the conflict is causing this sharp decline in the price? And it's literally because people want to liquidate to have access to those funds, essentially, right? Was that your take as well?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. That's normally the consensus when it happens, and then move into more stable assets as well. Obviously, crypto is really volatile, and generally, yeah, would want to get back into a more stable asset during times of like obviously conflict and stuff. And I was listening to like the Mariano Fall thing of the weekend as well, and like yeah, it's heating up across the world now. It's actually a little bit scary, like what's actually going on. Almost all countries in sort of, over there are kind of started joining the war. And yeah, it was pretty surreal on Saturday night, sat listening to a space and listening to everything that's going on. And we're moaning about crypto. Like, fuck, the perspective is real, man.
It really is. I just want to pull up very quickly a tweet that was from Wab from over at Sappy Seal. Just give me a second while I get that up, just so you guys can have a look at what I'm talking about here. So essentially, we've got big invasions or big wars that have happened over the years, and dating back from 1964. I don't know if you can see this, Franklin. There's always been a
Yeah.
a sharp decline in markets, followed by a sharp increase following. So that's from Vietnam, Gulf, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Crimean. Now, we're not obviously political commentators. We're just having a look at price action in terms of what's happening with crypto. But I thought that was quite
And,
interesting.
and we're using WAB as the source right now.
There you go. If there's any indication of our lack of professionalism, there we go.
Yeah, he's what Web tweeted. But yeah, I mean, it is true though. Like, that's sharp decline over the weekend. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but it's bounced back pretty decent this morning. We're back up this morning at like 66, almost 67. Got the halving coming up. We've got ETF approved as well in across the world. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
So from
let's go through.
just before you go on, from that drop on the last from that drop over the last 24 hours down to approximately 20%, we are sort of back circa at 7% now. So you're seeing a 7% weekly drop on BTC, 7% weekly drop on ETH, which isn't too bad, way more palatable than the sharp decline we saw.
Yeah, definitely more palatable. Definitely 100%. But NFTs as well. Honestly, they're down so bad. I don't think it could have got much worse for NFTs, especially Ethereum NFTs. So
You still
we
talk
didn't
about
see
those on the
much.
show?
So,
I said, do we still talk about NFTs on this show?
yeah, we're gonna have to. It's Monday recap. Let's get it out the way. But yeah, just looking over volumes in general, it looks like this is specifically on Ethereum NFTs, by the way. So volume on Blur 73 million, volume on
Wow.
Magic Eden 20 million, and this is the week, by the way, and 22.5 million on OpenSea. So very close on the weekly between Magic Eden and OpenSea now, 18 compared to 16. Pretty nuts. They're kind of keeping their market share at the moment. OpenSea, in comparison, they've always been around that like kind of 20% mark, but a
Yeah.
lot of it's been taken from the marketplaces by the look of it. And obviously with CryptoPunks being pretty low at the moment as well, and not much appetite for and ETH NFTs, we've seen a bigger drop in volume on those as well. Just to scroll down and have a look, see what else happened. Like in the last 24 hours, 17 million across all exchanges, and that's kind of the level we've hit now. Obviously, that used to be around 10 million, but yeah, you can see we've kind of had a bit of a jump, but we've slowly started to just bottom out there at 20 million a day, which is not bad, I suppose. It could be worse. We could be talking about
That painful
another.
drop.
Yeah. And then to give some stats on the actual top collections. This is interesting. These aren't currently right at the moment. They haven't updated on here. So the floor prices have changed a little bit. But these are actually exactly the same floor price right now. They're at 10.35 each.
Wow.
So really close battle. 2.7 million to Bored Ape and 1 million to Pudgy Penguins. Yeah, I'm not even reading it properly. But the 7-day volume is how I've got it filtered at the moment. So 14 million the last week, 10 million to Pudgy Penguins, and then Mutants in third. So yeah, it's pretty flat across the board. Milady's holding 4.6, which is pretty impressive to be quite honest. Like such a community there, and yeah, they're keeping it together quite nicely. But I've got Bored Ape open actually at the moment. I just wanted to kind of jump into it a little bit to be, yeah, how many people are actually going to be eating shit soon, Pav? Because there's been a lot of talk about this.
Oh,
There was
eating shit.
tweets everywhere.
You've been chatting shit about Yuga and Bored Ape.
Yeah, I'm just no. I mean, everyone said if it goes below 10 ETH, I'm eating my own shit.
Who's everyone?
There's literally almost every Bored Ape on the timeline, to be quite honest.
Oh wow, I completely missed that. I thought it was satire, but go on.
Yeah, it will be satire, but I want to see the content.
I'm actually having a look at some of the. I mean, the floor on the last 7 days is obviously down 13.8%. Even in terms of number of sales on Bored Ape and Mutant as well. It looks like there's a big sweep, highest amongst the top 10, 397 sales for Bored Ape in the last seven
In
days.
terms of numbers.
846 number of sales in terms of Macy.
Yeah, I mean it's the volumes there. Literally, the only reason I'm using Body Up this morning as well to check see what's going on is I think it's an indicator in terms of ETH NFTs because it's obviously what we've just seen there is where the majority of the volume is, and they're just on a steady decline over the last month as well. It's just yeah, it's pretty crazy, it's nonstop. But again, attention's not there, and we kind of have to roll with it. But yeah, quite a few sales dipping in. I expect them all around these areas like we've seen here, but yeah, it's just slowly declining. We'll see. We'll see how this pans out.
Yeah, I mean, painfully low numbers in terms of sales with the top 10 in NFTs on ETH. We will take a deeper dive into ordinals. Just before we do that, I have got um some of the figures that we've got in terms of marketplaces. I know you were speaking about OpenSea coming back with sort of around 20%. So I've got some information here. Just give me a sec and I've got it up. So again, for anyone who is listening, we are on video as well. We're going to be sharing this information so you can see it. We will be reading it out. But in terms of marketplace users in the last 24 hours, we're still seeing a domination by Magic Eden with 70% on ordinals, 20% on Solana, and as low as 3% on ETH, which is what I wasn't expecting. 220k users in the last 7 days on across Magic Eden, OpenSea, OKX, and Tensor. Um, what do you think it is over the month, Franklin? So, number of users in the last 30 days across those top four uh, Magic Eden, OpenSea, Tensor, OKX, and Blur.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, is that it was Blur, and they've obviously dropped off in terms of users because it's just wash trading at the moment, pretty much, and farming airdrops and stuff at big traders, and that's what it was always built for. So it's not surprising they've went down a little bit with incentives and things coming off there as well. Tensor airdrops being doing very, very, very well, and obviously they've only Solana. The reason Magic Eden's obviously at the top, they've got huge volumes in BTC, and that's making up, as you can see there, 74%. So, you know, it's really not surprising. I'm shocked actually that the OpenSea still hasn't done. They announced last week Blast, right? Okay,
Yeah,
great. What are you doing about Bitcoin? Like everyone is literally talking about Bitcoin. Everyone is looking at, you know, we've spoke about it multiple times now in terms of rune stones and runes coming as well. And they still haven't moved with anything. It's crazy. So like, although Magic Eden's shown there at the top, obviously only 3% is in Ethereum, and then the rest is divided down in terms of how much. So Tensor clearly just leading the charge in Solana by quite a long way. But Magic Eden are just smashing it in terms of multi and the first movers on Bitcoin. They've killed it.
yeah, definitely. And we're just having a look at this. So, Magic Eden 74% Bitcoin, OKX 98% Bitcoin. That's on the last 24 hours. In the 7 days, again, 71% on Magic Eden is BTC. Again, OKX 99% BTC. So that means we should literally have a look at what's been happening in terms of ordinals and price action on NFTs over there, because it's not on ETH. We know it's on the ordinals. Not many sales, as many as I would have thought, but runestones are at a floor of 5k. So much
Let me
speculation.
stop you. Put that back in crypto right now. What is going on? Get that off USD. I was
Get
like, where's the floor price? What's going on? On Bitcoin,
right.
that's the only thing relevant in my brain. All right, cool. Now I know where they're at.
Almost now you
All
can
right.
understand and read it. Yeah. So runestones at
Yeah.
0.075 BTC. For anyone listening, that is 5k. Rune Pub's at 0.149, and that's 9.9k. And yeah, just to having a look at the number of sales that have happened, still soaring really high with Runestone, 634 sales in the last 24 hours alone. What do you think about
Yeah, they've probably been pending a week though, so we'll wait till them go
that?
through.
Yeah,
No,
literally. Then needs to be another tab here. Amount of time this has been pending for.
Yeah, I was out with friends on Saturday night, so I was checking the charts, and I did come and check runestones, and I'm pretty sure they dropped to like 0.49 or 0.47.
Yeah,
I think I see that. So it was a massive opportunity there, honestly, if you could get in. And all I'm seeing on the timeline at the moment is people setting up Raspberry Pis and setting up nodes, man. So I think there's definitely people wanting to be ready for these runestones and runes going live, which is going to be tricky for a lot of people battling the gas if you don't have a node, I guess.
yeah, 100%. I've seen a lot of that as well. There is an article on Decrypt, which is actually really cool. It breaks it down, so you can check that out as well if you did want to set up a node. But you're right, the gas is gonna be crazy. But yeah, I mean, in terms of you can see where like let's say in the last week, you've had 630 sales, or no, sorry, 430 sales across Macy. In the last 24 hours, you've had 634 sales across Runestones, and that reflects with all the top 10 collections. So, not surprised that the data is showing from exchanges it's all going into ordinals because you can see the number of sales that are happening.
Oh, Rugged, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
All right, we're back. I think you rugged a little bit. Are you there? Yeah, yeah. You cut out and stopped, but you're good.
All right, no worries. But yeah, let's move
Can you
on.
hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
All right, there's a delay. Carry on. Go ahead. I'll keep quiet for a sec.
I was gonna say, yeah, so we can see the attention and the energy is flowing into ordinals from marketplaces, and when you take a deeper dive into that, you can see from the number of sales, it's towering what's happening on ETH. So yeah, let's move.
Yeah, what do you want to head into next? We got Dizzy up on stage as well.
Yo,
So
yo,
yeah, if you
Dizzy
do
G.
jump up. GM Dizzy.
GM. Listen, there's something that just came to mind, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but his D gods are on ordinals. Did you know that?
Yeah, they've been there like about over a year now.
He's
Have
trying to
they?
get cross.
Yeah.
Because, no one's ever spoke about it.
Yeah, I mean they've been there at time. There's some big groups and stuff. They launched at a super high mint price as well. But yeah, they've been there quite a while.
Yeah, no, I only noticed that on the weekend, and I noticed it on Thursday, but I couldn't come in on Friday to do the news because no one's ever spoken about it. But I was surprised at how expensive they were.
Yeah, I mean it's Bitcoin, and they minted really high. I actually can't remember what they were, but they minted so high it was. Yeah, they've held the floor pretty well.
Yeah, no, that was all. Morning, everyone. GM.
Good morning. Yeah, Pav, what do you want to run into next? Thanks for that, Dizzy.
Thanks for that, Dizzy. New Jedi, I have requested you, but it's saying you're still requesting. So maybe
I'm here.
try.
I'm here.
Oh,
worry.
Yo.
Good morning, buddy. How are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, good. I've been invisible for a couple of weeks, I think. But when I come back, I didn't realise that WAB was going to be the political benchmark of war-torn territories and cryptocurrency statements. Thanks for changing the world.
It was actually a pretty good graphic, to be honest. It did actually explain everything, but yeah.
It was actually sick. It was just the source. Maybe I could have gone to the actual source of it.
It is tricky though for there not to be kind of like a political side to it, because like that graph obviously presents, there is some level of what I find really ironic though is like when shit's hitting the fan, wouldn't you want a level of decentralization to give you complete agility versus having it locked up in like USD or GBP when you've got things like BRICS that are trying to unstable that anyway? So it is fascinating, albeit the world's going to hell in a handbasket. I do accept that.
Yeah, I mean it's go on, Pav.
Yeah, I think it's because of the volatility, right? Because it is still a highly volatile asset. Yes, you would want to be decentralized, but then like how low is your bag gonna go in that self-sovereignty that you're just dying for? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of everyone else, going.
But that boys, that's conviction, isn't it? That's conviction of the space. Like is it about the value of your bag, or is it about the conviction you've got in how superior cryptocurrency could be? Discuss, class.
And
I'm not trying to throw any spanners in the works today, by the
No,
way.
it's a good point. The question remains: if you have that BTC, and let's say there is political unrest, how do you spend it? So, can you convert that BTC into toilet roll, which will be flying off the shelves, for example? And I think that is still the big missing part here. Where yes, you may have the conviction in the technology, but if the price is dropping considerably and you are worried about your bags, which a lot of people would have due to the amount of liquidations, almost $1 billion in a very short space of time. The question is, if I do hold on to this and the value drops, or let's say I hold on to it and it doesn't, how do I spend it? How do I use it?
yeah,
All right,
it's
I'm going to put something really controversial towards you, towards the whole space, actually. So, hypothetical, bear with me. Hypothetical is we've all invested in cryptocurrency and its backbone is ammunitions and weapons. Because of that, conflict kicked off and the cryptocurrency is absolutely pumped because everyone's buying ammunitions and weapons. Is it ethical that we've invested in that? Is it ethical to take out liquidity because we're seeing all-time highs? I'm so sorry. Or is it unethical, and is it a bad idea? Only because, like, listen, people love to trade on speculation. The whole Big Short was about scumbags trying to short the housing market, and then some people winning massively. GME stock, you remember that when those same scumbags stock traders were trying to short GME stock in retail, and it was the common person that decided, nah, I'm not having that shit, and everyone was bullish on each other. It was wonderful. And I'm just saying, if we invested in ammunition, weapons, nuclear grade, right? Not any of this sort of civil stuff.
Where are we going with this?
Point being is your cryptocurrency is only as strong as what is underpinned by.
I've got an easy. I think it was a moral question to begin with there as well.
Yeah,
and I've got an easy
but also
answer.
It's a different direction.
I got an easy answer to the moral side of it as well. Is if you hold USD or any other government currency, that's taken part in more wars, in more things across the board than anything else. Even like the US dollar, like, my God, like nothing's clean. Like, it really not. If you're investing in gold as well, how many times has that been used? Or even not even recent future, but like recent, like past, but way back. Has that been used in terms of like a value to actually trade for weapons and stuff? I think it's just another asset. What's being used by other people for, then it's not. But in a war times, if that happens, that's how it happens. Like in COVID, obviously we've seen a massive run as well. So I mean, yeah, can't really say too much more about it, really, to be honest. I think that's kind of the answer. I think any currency or store of value is used in whatever way it has been in the past, and it will be do so like that in the future as well. I don't think there's much more to say on that, Jedi. I don't know.
No, I think that's a fair answer. Like I say, you know, who was it? Was it Winston Churchill? Never let a good travesty go to waste.
Okay.
Anyway, back to you streaming content, and actually, what's really interesting to me is that when I look at your stream, you've got something like 125 people that were watching the stream, but in the space currently as we speak, there's not 125 people. And I just wanted to know that is it because Lando's got 100 different monitors all streaming it concurrently, or is it that there's just a different way it's measured?
It's yeah, they're all measured differently, I think. So you've got like listeners in the space is one thing, it's completely separate to the stream. Then the stream on video is another, and then I think that's concurrent listeners. I'm not too sure how many people have came in and listened to the video side. So yeah, two separate.
Love that. Well done. Thanks for bringing all things minted to a multitude of media streams. Good, good work.
We thought we'd try it. We're doing it anyway, and we thought, you know what, we need more content and to clip up some stuff and build things out that we've got planned for the next, well, probably in the next week or two now. That's gonna look pretty interesting. So yeah, we're just switching up a little bit. Hopefully everyone can hear it because we haven't tested it. So yeah.
You talk about Yuga a minute ago. You wouldn't want to be a kennel club owner. Christ, have you seen those prices?
Yeah, they're currently down pretty bad at the moment. I had the heat map up, but it's down 10%. But their floor price, yeah, it's down pretty
0.45.
You sure? No way.
Yeah, mate. straight up,
Jeez.
and that's straight from OpenSea right now.
Oh yeah, 0.39 on Mintify.
Oh, okay. All right,
So
it's even lower than what I've just said.
yeah, they'll be even lower on Blur. So yeah, they're going down pretty bad. I mean, is this the time to be buying NFTs, Pav?
I really don't think it is. We did digress massively to where we were going to go, but I don't know. I think for me, the strategy is to remain as liquid as possible. I really nearly got caught in it last week. I was looking on ordinals and I was thinking, do I want a tiny Viking? They dropped to, I think it was around $750, $800 at one point. I've seen so much about them on the timeline, and I just thought as soon as this runes protocol drops and there's going to be a meme coin season, I don't want to be stuck in NFT. So for me, I packed the NFT bags that I wanted, and then it was a case of, right, what do I want to do with my next set of capital that I want to deploy? And it was a case of, I want to be as liquid as I can for as many meme coin seasons on as many chains as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things as well. Like, even looking at other chains at the moment, and I'm talking about new chains here, not old ones that are dead and people are trying to pump meme coins on. But like, honestly, I think fading like new chains and meme coins on new chains is like the craziest thing. Brett on base, honestly, is absolutely ripping. I think they're about 600 million market cap last night. And I think that might be, we're talking about the next meme coin on a chain that's going to do something. Honestly, I think that might be the one. We had Bonk on Solana. We had Pepe on ETH. I think we've got Brett on base. We're getting Dog on runes, on ordinals, on Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, it's starting to play out. The winners and what we should be putting into for the longer term is definitely starting to be becoming even more clear now, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to take this opportunity very quickly just to talk about some of the comments before we move on, because we have got some more headlines and we are halfway through the show now. Guys, if you did want to have any involvement in the show, you can definitely do that by jumping up on stage, or you can do what Tony has done, is drop a comment in the bottom right hand corner. So there's a few things before we move on. Single digit Basie and Pudgy Penguins is coming. I don't know, maybe, definitely one to watch. And we've got OpenSea could have made a comeback. Pardon?
It is coming. It is coming. I think there's a little bit of a delay between mine and your mic, but I agree. I think it's coming to 9. I do think it's coming on to 10.
Let's see. We've got OpenSea could have made a comeback with ordinals, but they totally missed the boat. They missed the first couple of waves last year. They missed the pump this year. They missed runestones and runes. Seems like they have no interest in Bitcoin. That's actually a really good point. They would not even have had to have done much. It's not like they had to do anything radical because they already had a lot of people using, like you said, 20% of the volume. If they'd have literally just incorporated ordinals, they wouldn't have been as far behind as they are.
Yeah, but when you're running like a company that big from your basement alone, it's pretty difficult because it feels like that's how OpenSea is run, from a basement with one guy in charge and just making all the wrong decisions, because that's just how it feels.
Yeah, just one guy tech support.
Yeah, just one guy. It feels like that with tech support. My word, tech support, he takes weekends off as well. Dear me.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Franklin, if you want to just reset the room, then we'll go into our first topic, which is kind of in line with what we were speaking about in terms of some conflict and the point New Jedi raised about holding onto your bags with some level of conviction. I've got some figures and some information here. We're going to take a dive into that. So, Franklin, let's reset the room and let's go straight into it.
Yeah, guys, welcome to Minted once again. So, yeah, if you've joined us this morning, we are live on video. It's pinned to the top if you want to join in and be a bit more interactive and see exactly what we're kind of talking about and what we're looking at the same time as talking about it. You head to the pinned tweet. If not, by all means, stay in the space. We'd appreciate a like and retweet. I was not prepared to reset the room there, and I've properly hashed that out. But yeah, like and retweet. Let's build it out. A bit more chilled this morning. Just testing out this video. It's thrown me a bit. Was not ready to reset the room.
No worries. Let's go. So straight into the topic, guys. And like I said, it is in line with some conversation we have already had. Crypto owners, a growing force heading into 24 election. According to Galaxy Digital, nearly 1 out of 5 voters own crypto, making them potentially the most powerful constituency in November. So obviously this is talking about the US presidential elections that are coming up in November this year. I think it's the 5th of November. We've got some comments here. As we inch closer to November and investors begin to narrow into a ballot, implications for markets, the crypto industry may play a larger role than it ever has. The Galaxy Digital Report states, citing a March poll by crypto venture capital firm Paradigm, 19% of registered voters own cryptocurrency, including over 11 million who own more than $1,000 worth. Now, this is a really, really interesting conversation because it's not necessarily just about newer generations coming in and having different political views, which we've seen obviously with mass conflict over the last couple of year or so, especially with what's happening in Ukraine and what's happening in Palestine, and the amount of presence there's been on social media and how that has changed that. But now it's also technology as well. I've got some figures here which I'm going to share before we start the conversation. Cryptocurrency awareness and ownership rates have increased to record levels. Now 40% of American adults now own crypto, up from 30% in 2023. That's almost 93 million people, Franklin, which is a ridiculous amount. There's around 63% of people who hope to obtain more cryptocurrency over the next year. And the rate of crypto ownership by women has surged from 18% a year to 29% from the start of 2024. So, we're now talking about a really, really massive constituency, which is only increasing. So from 2021, and again, this is American adults, because this is the data I could find this morning. In 2021, 15% of people own cryptocurrency. That's increased to 33% in 22, 30% in 23, and now 40% in 24. Franklin, this is a massive, massive conversation, especially with what's happening across the globe and the conversation that we're having about conflict, holding onto your bags, maintaining a belief in the technology, but also now deciding who's going to be empowered depending on their likeliness and willingness to incorporate crypto.
Yeah, I mean, is it going to be Trump or is it going to be Borden? It's going to be one of the two. Honestly, I think leading into this year as well in the cycle, we've seen so many things. We've got Trump's dog, we've got Biden, and I took the conversation literally from like a political one to which I am not interested at all, especially US politics. But I'm trying to link it back to how it's affecting crypto to make it like kind of interesting. But those meme coins could actually do some crazy numbers. Obviously leading through this presidential year, but I mean in terms of adopting and what that means, like it's obvious that that was going in that direction. I'd love to know where this data was obviously collected from. Was it from the SEC or was it from where was it, who would do that in the US? I guess it's from centralized exchanges, I guess, and data from those. But it would be interesting to see as well, like how many are actually still. I think users would be a wide term in terms of they've created an account before, maybe they've uploaded to an account and then there's some crypto sat in there, but maybe not, active or any high amounts or volumes to go through there and not really know what they're doing. Because obviously during 2021 peak kind of bull run and lockdown through 2022, there's so many people got in and then left, right? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But obviously leading into presidential years, they have massive impact on stock prices and prices across the board and volatility within markets. And crypto is definitely going to be one of those. So yeah, maybe Trump and Borden has got a lot more legs in them.
Maybe. I don't even necessarily think it's just about US politics. There's elections in India, I think, this year. There's elections in the UK for sure. The conversation is, how is that going to impact who actually comes into power? Like, is it a case of now the people, quote unquote, are going to force people, sort of people in power, to say, look, right, we do need to adopt crypto. We do need to have the conversation where it's incorporated in the infrastructure so that we get those votes. And I think that's going to be really, really big play this year. It's going to have a massive impact on the adoption where, you've got one candidate who is pro crypto and pro Bitcoin, let's say. And then you've got 40% of a voting public that are actually owning it. It's going to have a massive impact.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I definitely agree with that. When you look at like what Lisbon did and obviously Dubai as well, a lot of people obviously out there with 2049 at the moment as well, but Dubai's became like a crypto hub. And, London's been trying to be that for a while as well with getting cryptocurrency within there and emerging technologies and stuff, and the government as well. Not a lot of people know this, but huge grants available through the government at the moment for tech is to do. You can apply through like crypto and stuff like that as well. So I think you're right. I think that is a good angle. I think looking at it from objectively, the amount of people like adopting it and potentially making good returns over the last 12 months, we'll definitely be looking at the most user friendly and being able to just do what they, really what they want with their money. I think it's going to be a big factor.
Yeah, definitely. We had a hand shoot up from New Jeddah. Over to you, buddy.
Yeah, I was just going to say that that's the crypto narrative is great, but it depends where those holders are. And from my experience, a great deal of holders tend to kind of like be initially Asia Pacific, then North America, and then outside of that was like a kind of a real sprinkle of lots of ownership, but quite uniquely. So case in point, when I went out on Thursday night last week. I got speaking to a particular guy. He's a commander in the Navy, an American guy. And he sort of said, "What do you do?" I'd steered away from talking about anything about Web3 because, as you probably all know, it either welcomes conversation or challenge. And then as I mentioned, I kind of went, "Oh yeah, there's this amazing Twitter space that opens every Monday morning, or every morning, sorry. You should check it out if you're into anything crypto." He looked at me and he went, "You're the first person that I've spoken to in the UK that knows anything about cryptocurrency."
Yeah, it's nuts. Everyone doesn't actually know.
No, that's the thing. Like it's not even the education about how do I buy it. It's actually awareness. It's social consciousness. And like I say, got a commander from the Royal Navy, and he was more enthusiastic speaking about. He has got, I quote, 535 ETH coins.
Nice.
So like 535 ETH as one bag. Yeah, wild. And like I say, he's a commander. And I said to him, "How do you go about trading? Because like when you're in the middle of international waters, you must have the shittiest broadband infrastructure." And he's like, "Yeah, in the US, it is really, really awful." But it did just kind of remind me that there's still a great deal of time for people to switch on to stuff. So will people be I guess motivated by the idea that one leader is going to really champion cryptocurrency versus that? No, I don't think so at the moment. I don't think so. I think because what Trump is fantastic at doing is tapping into culture. He's really clever at that. He's stupid at loads of other things.
What, like his trading cards on Polygon?
to which he's made a few dollars on Trumpy boy.
Yeah,
but he's this entire subculture, which I'd like to say Web3 probably is very engineered by the mechanic of culture. And so, and if anybody's seen NFT TF, Netflix, if you haven't, please go and watch it. It's really, really good. And it just talks about the where people's attention is. You see, right now for us and our attention, it's the halving, it's the world going to hell in a handbasket, and it's realizing that there's more meme coins with rubbish names, which is going to be the current situation, and now and again, Mockaverse. But outside of what we talk about, like it's, Pav, in your world, real estate, whatever you do is has got a backbone of something that is fungible, that can be looked and can be dealt with, and does have some level of constant, consistent value. And I'm sure there's other people in the space that are working at 9 to 5, and what they do contributes to something which it has a stabilizing value. What we're doing as this subculture is in some degrees speculating in the hope this gives warrant and validation to this space. To which by the way, I'm really bullish on all of you.
Yeah, I think I'm just having a look at the article. Again, you can see this on video. It says the Paradigm poll also found that crypto owners currently favor Trump over Biden 48 to 39%. So I get what you're saying about not many people know about it. It depends where they are. That makes complete sense. The polls are showing that due to Trump's, I don't know, facade, or whether it's fake or whether it's real, his belief in cryptocurrency, it's favoring supporters. People are saying that they would rather pick Trump, or 48% of people that own cryptocurrency. So this isn't just general figures, it's 48% of people that own cryptocurrency favor him over Biden. So the political leaders that do have a stance which is favorable on crypto as it stands, well, it makes sense, right? Like, you own cryptocurrency. If you've got two potential leaders that are going to come into power in your own country, amongst their other stance on, other areas in their leadership and what their plans are, if they are bullish on cryptocurrency, that is going to sway you in one direction because you're spending every day trading JPEGs.
Well, no one is at the moment. We've just done the numbers, and there's no one trading. But yeah, I mean, in the fast as well, like, we're talking about crypto. We're talking about crypto in terms of everything that we know, in terms of being quite in depth with it, know what's going on with every project and every collection, and then all that type of stuff. Exposure from the outside is literally people on TikTok with someone in a Lamborghini with a handful of cash trying to get them into a scam. Like, that's the biggest thing. And like, as well, even just on X at the moment, we're seeing ads pop up for clear scams as well, like actually verified ads. So like, the outside perspective is still very bad, and like, especially in the UK, like what you Jedi said, and it's one of the reasons why we started this space in the first place. Like, the UK is so, I think, undervalued in crypto. I think it's ridiculous in terms of, how many people are actually active here. The numbers are super, super low, and that's going to change, I have no doubt. And I think it's just a case of, sticking with it. And if you believe in it, you're gonna keep going. And I've got no doubt it's going up. I think that's why we're all here. But I mean, how it affects everything else in terms of political, it's definitely going to have, looking at those numbers, an effect, I guess, at least a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I think having a large number of your constituents bullish on cryptocurrency, it makes sense for you to be bullish on cryptocurrency because, like, we're having a look here, like 40% of Americans, 93 million people is ridiculous. But yeah, that's a really interesting topic. Definitely drop us a comment in the bottom right hand corner if you have any comments or have any views on that as well, and we can take a deeper dive into that in a bit. But Franklin, let's move on.
Yeah, absolutely. What we got next?
We have got, okay, so again, a little bit more from governments, I think, in line with leadership. We've got Hong Kong approves the first batch of spot Bitcoin ETFs as they drive to become a crypto hub. So we saw obviously what happened with the ETFs that were approved in America. Now we're seeing that happen in Hong Kong, which is interesting considering that wasn't the case with China. We've seen China ban crypto probably over 69 million times, but yeah, like the announcement was made at 2:26 a.m. EDT this morning.
Yeah, I mean, again, another ETF being approved is only good for crypto. It's only good for Bitcoin. More inflows, and again, I think that's one of the reasons that dip had been bought up so quickly over the weekend. Currently sat at what we are at the moment, 6,000, 6,300. So yeah, big bounce, and I think that's only going to grow today. I think we're going to be seeing back up pretty high by this afternoon. I think it's going to be pretty much just a shock weekend, I think, when no one's trading.
Yeah, definitely. The article read Hong Kong approved the applications of several spot Bitcoin and Ether exchange traded funds on Monday as the region continues its drive to become a regional crypto hub. China Asset Management, a major Chinese asset manager, said that it is Hong Kong unit has received approval in principle from the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission to offer retail asset management services related to crypto ETFs. I think it's really, really bullish. We're going to see this happening across other countries and other governments, and it's going to be more and more bullish in terms of, we saw what happened with the ETF and the amount of growth that happened, and almost an all-time high within 12 days of it being approved in America. Let's see how Hong Kong ETFs impact price action moving forward in the next sort of 10 to 11 days.
Yeah, it's interesting that, like you said, they keep banning crypto for everyone else, and then they approve an ETF. I don't get it.
Sorry, say that again.
They ban like crypto across the board, and then they approve ETFs. Like much sense.
So this is Hong Kong, not necessarily mainland China.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did actually cover it. It was, unlike its neighboring Chinese mainland border crackdown on cryptocurrency trading and mining, Hong Kong has rolled out a welcome mat for crypto firms last year. I mean, Hong Kong's a really massive business district in itself anyway, and separate to mainland China. So I think it's super bullish, and it gives China sort of an indication of where they're going in terms of what can happen and what needs to happen moving forward.
Yeah, I think don't miss out on it, and I think that's one of the biggest things. Framework's already been approved in a country like the US, and it's there and it's ready, and people are doing it. Like, I think, right, it's time to go and approve it. Other countries will need, start following suit, and they are. So, yeah, it's only good for Bitcoin, only good for crypto.
Yeah, it is only a matter of time, I think, for the governments here. And like you're saying, one of the biggest financial governments or one of the biggest players on the planet is America. You're sort of then thinking, all right, well, there's no reason why we can't, or there's no reason why we shouldn't. And I think that's going to be really, really bullish. So I think there's a few things that are going to have a really bullish impact on price action this year, especially with Bitcoin. And I know you didn't want to talk about it from a political perspective, Franklin, but having voters that are bullish on cryptocurrency, encouraging leaders with all these elections, whether it's India, whether it's the UK, whether it's America, along with spot ETFs being approved, whether it's America, whether it's Hong Kong, and then we've got an ETF in the pipeline potentially as well. And I know you're speculative about that, but it's proving to be a next really, really bullish 12 to 18 months from a very different reason of why it was last time. You've now got institutional and political issues that are going to be affecting the price, and I think that's really bullish.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And yeah, I do have an opinion on the ETH ETF. I don't want it. Stop it.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I just had to let you have it for a second.
Bitcoin goes up, ETH goes up anyway. We don't need it. Doesn't need it.
And we don't need any political commentary on that either. It's just facts.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
Yeah, definitely. We've got our last headline. We've only got 7 minutes to cover it. Do you want to go for it? It's the Mockerverse unveils tokenomics, allocates 53% up to its community, which I think staggering, especially with airdrops and the lack of that happened last week.
Yeah, I've not actually looked into Mockerverse too much, but it's popping up like even more on my timeline at the moment, and more like paying attention to it. But have you seen the tokenomics? Have you got a visual breakdown of that? I think we have it, right? Oh no.
Yep, I've got it here. So again, if anybody wants to have a look, you can see this. The only thing is, Franklin, because we're on video now, we're not pinning anything to the top. But 53% goes directly to the community allocations. We've got network incentives at 31.5%, ecosystem and treasury at 20%, and community sale at 1.5%. There are a few other allocations with partners, liquidity, operational expenses 5%. I think it's great. Like network incentives and all of this are bullish for the community because you know that you're not going to be having any issues and you know that's going to work. But yeah, man, I think we haven't really covered Mockerverse to the extent that we wanted to, but everything they seem to be doing just seems to be touching gold, and it seems to be going really well. And it's really reflected by the sentiment on the timeline, by the floor price staying consistent, and I think people really like it. Animoca have just killed it again.
Yeah, I mean, scroll back up just a little bit. I want to see what it was talking about in terms of network incentives. It does say airdrops, so obviously airdrops, but it looks like they're whoever sells or transfers their NFTs will risk having mock allocations cancelled. So it looks like holding your NFTs is the incentive there, and I'm so glad nowhere there says social, because my word, it's really annoying. Like at the weekend, I blocked like I think 6 or 7 tickers just because it was really getting too much, man. Every time I logged in, all I was seeing was, if you don't farm this, you're not going to make it. And then just, man, explain to me what even 2 of those projects are, and I'll be fine with it. No one knows, have a clue. Like, they were forming Block a week ago, and their allocation is like $50. Like, it's just getting out of control. And I think it's a smart move from someone like Mocha to, I think what you have to do, if you don't have a product that works, you have to incentivize it massively in terms of like social and that type of cheap farming. What you get is not people that believe in your project. You don't build a community, but you actually just get people there that are there for a bag. They'll sell it and they'll be gone. And then the project's left where, like, just waiting to try and like pull it back up. I think it's super smart to get the right incentives. And we've seen it work, right? With Tensor and their airdrop rewarding everybody. The same with Magic Eden with the gems as well. It has to be through rewarding the users of the platform that you're building out. And those are the people who are going to stay with it, are going to believe in the project longer term, and are going to hold those airdrops and not send the token down, and then it really be very hard to recover, because one of the biggest metrics is no matter how good the actual platform is, if the token's not performing and it's down a little bit without any added income from, other sources, it's a real struggle for projects to come back. So yeah, super for network incentives over any kind of social, which there probably will be from, people using it and rewarding some interaction in terms of social media. But yeah, let's not be tweeting mocker all day.
No, you're 100% right. It's incentivizing people to stay, but I mean, in this sense, almost even strong arming them too. Like you said, you'll risk your allocation being cancelled if you transfer or sell your NFT. It's something so simple, but it keeps the people that actually want to stay and add value to the project and really provide value to the ecosystem rather than just being there to farm. And they
Just
put the
reward
team,
loyalty.
yeah, essentially rewarding loyalty. That's exactly what they're doing. The community
Yeah.
sale provides priority and exclusive access to the community who firmly believe in the mission. Hence, participants of the community sale are offered the best vesting terms compared to strategic partners and team. It seems so simple, right? It seems like it's something that everyone should do, but it hasn't been outlined this way. And I think how they've done it makes a lot of sense. You're going to keep the best people around. You're going to incentivize the ones that do the most and stay closest to the project. And essentially, you're going to have a community of people who are awaiting an airdrop who actually deserve it as well, because that's one thing as well. They haven't just tweeted about it or botted it or not done very much for it, but actually believed in the mission of the project. And they're the ones that get the best vesting periods. It makes so much sense. I think it's so clean. I love it.
Go down a little bit. Let me see the engagement. Let's see what they've actually got. Yeah, full breakdown on tokenomics. Yeah, pretty good. 140k impressions. Tweeted out yesterday. No, Friday. So yeah, it's pretty decent. I think again, it always depends on these NFT projects as well, right? In terms of what they're going to do and how many people are active and interested. But I think this is one of the ways with an airdrop definitely that's gonna boost them a little bit more.
Yeah, they've coined it. Proof of loyalty. Yeah, brilliant. Love it. All right. We did have a couple of other headlines. So Animoca, in line with Mochaverse, Animoca brands Japan opens applications for its summer NFT launchpad. We've got Bitcoin back in green as the Middle East tensions ease up. We've covered that. Nigerian government locates Binance exec on the run in Kenya. That was just one that made me laugh. But that's it for me, Frank. That's a wrap on the headlines.
They're all getting hunted, man. We're just seeing it over and over again. Yeah, all these executives and things doing some slightly questionable stuff, really starting to get caught out.
That's
Hopefully
it. Yeah, I mean, other than that was it from my end.
Hopefully they'll find the guys that rugged the full projects I was in at the weekend. Then again, they were at 15k market cap and 50 years old, so can't moan too much.
Yeah, that's it, guys. That's actually a wrap on today's show. I've just seen the time as well. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who joined in the conversation, who joined us on video, and who shared comments as well. Franklin, let's rug it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you soon tomorrow, 9 a.m. We run it every day, every weekday throughout the week. We are trying video, so if you have tuned in, you're in the groups or whatever, drop us some comments. If there's anything we would be better at or change, let us know, because we're going to be just iterating in terms of what we do and how to provide more value on the morning as well, and grow the space and provide more and more value, more guests as well coming up very shortly. So yeah, drop us a comment, drop us some likes and some retweets on the space. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. UTC. Bye, guys.